I do tell the best stories about getting unfairly kicked out. The first time that I ever got the shit kicked out of me, and the first time I broke my nose, actually, was, I couldn't have been older than 8.
I know you. I know what you
We had just moved into the apartments that we'd end up living at for like 15 or so years.
So what is it you think I really am?
Ooh.
You're a killer.
Wait, I'll tell you after this.
I'm doing this for Jen.
Oh, come on. It's not just what you do, it's who you are. You've always been a killer. In another life. In another game. You've always known it. Felt the urge. You just can't bury it. You've been wearing a mask your whole life. It's time to embrace it. This is who you really are.
You're wrong.
Am I?
So, we were fucking around with some backyard, like, bullshit. Because the apartments that we were living in had this huge backyard area that all the apartments shared. And, my brother starts to get into kind of a scrap with this kid about his age, but then, like, I don't even know how the dumb shit happens where you, like, get called out. And so I ended up being the one to fight him. And being an 8-year-old, and being fresh from Mortal Kombat, I was like, oh, fuck yeah, I'm just gonna stretch real quick. So I go to stretch, dude kicks me in the face with cleats. Just runs right up to me. My brother yells my name, I turn. Now, I didn't bleed at all, so I thought, oh, I'm fine. I was just leaking a bunch of, like, clear liquid. And my nose hurt for, like, 3 weeks after that. Like, I couldn't touch it. I didn't know at the time, because I hid it from my mom. But I didn't know at the time, but that's actually, like, the #1 sign that you've broken your fucking nose. Second time that I broke my nose, my brother and I are playing catch, decides I gotta be the catcher, because he wants to learn to pitch. Decided he wanted to be Nomo. So he says something to me. We were in kind of an argument. I lower the glove and retort, and he fastballs the ball right into my face. I couldn't have been more than, like, 12 at that time. Again, no blood. Well, actually, there was a little bit of blood there, but I was just, like, couldn't touch my nose for a couple of weeks. The last time I had my ass truly and utterly kicked was a pretty good story. So, I want to say I was a senior in high school. I went to a party that I didn't really know anybody at. A crazy fight breaks out. I mean, the type of fight where a guy who's fresh from prison
What does that sound?
just goes to his trunk, pulls out a bowling ball, 10-pound bowling ball. This guy was a 6-foot Samoan dude. And I think he was like 19 or 20, but he was at this high school party. Anyway, so basically the fight starts to break out, nothing crazy really happens, but then someone comes up to me after and they're like, hey, what the fuck happened? And so I was like, I don't know, this lady over here was screaming at this guy over here, kind of give like a quick rundown. Out of nowhere, this guy who I've never met in my life just screams, that guy's talking shit. I swear to God, I end up with at least 5 or more guys just tackle me to the ground and just start beating the shit out of me. I mean, kicking me in the ribs, the head. I had like a whole swollen face and shit. Didn't break my nose that time though. But then I ended up getting rescued by like a bunch of baseball players from a high school I didn't go to. Pulled me off. I was incoherent. Apparently I was trying to like go back to fight more. Ended up like someone called my mom on my cell phone to like come get me because I was pretty fucked up. So I get in the car, my mom's driving away, and I'm like just covered in bruises, bleeding. And I was like, this is crazy. What's going on? There's like this whole crowd of people. They're all looking at the car. And then she turns and sees my face. She's like, let's get some ice packs. Next day I told everyone I got attacked by a shark. So there you go. Crazy fight story. Last time I truly and utterly got my ass kicked. Surprisingly enough, I didn't like have that shit happen to me where you lose your sense of smell or anything like that. But you can actually see it. You can see that my nose is actually crooked in 2 spots. If you look at it. You see how it goes straight right here, and then it bumps out this way and then comes back down. Now if you look at pictures of me as a kid, that is not there until about 9. And the first time it was just swooping a little bit left, then it... So I've got character on my face. I also got into a jet ski accident when I was 18 and hit another jet ski at around 70 miles an hour. That was the first time I experienced time in slow motion. Chicks do dig scars. Because of that and the jet ski accident, I have like a ridiculously high pain tolerance. So if I say something hurts, generally speaking, it is real fucking painful. Actually, the worst pain I've ever felt in my life might seem silly because it is not the time that I got into... Actually, so I've told you guys, like, after I got into that jet ski accident, the sheriff shows up. Someone got it on video. I got to see myself fly through the air like an asshole. The sheriff was like, oh, you gotta ride this cracked jet ski back because we have no way to tow it. So you're gonna have to keep it above 50 miles an hour. I think it was more like 40 miles an hour. But you're gonna have to keep it above 40 miles an hour to keep the nose in the air where the giant crack is, otherwise it'll sink. Now, at this point, I couldn't feel my legs. I was still unable to feel my legs. Because when I hit my buddy Daniel, we hit into each other. I hit him with my hips and flipped over him. So I'm riding back, standing on legs I can't feel. Feels like I'm floating through the air. I look over and the fucking sheriff, I shit you not, just like screams, yeah! And he holds up the fucking horn. He's like, yeah! And I'm just like, what the fuck? I'm fucking traumatized right now. And then he's like, hey man, I'm not going to call the ambulance so we don't have to make a police record of it or anything. If that's cool. Yeah, that's cool. He's like, yeah, it'll save you a bunch of money. Thanks, bro. And, yeah. But the worst pain I ever felt in my life, I was sparring in Aikido. And I was sparring with a guy that used to do Muay Thai. And I throw a punch. He drops down on one knee and elbows me in the femoral artery. I have never dropped, so I didn't even drop that fast when I got hit in the fucking nose. Like, I just hit the dirt. And then I couldn't walk for like 20 minutes. They do make me look like an asshole.
But what form? What kind of flesh is strong
Or
enough to
broken
contain the terrible power?
I'll tell you what, when we're in Evo, I'll show you what I mean. I'll hit you in the femoral artery. I'll just tap it. I don't even have to hit it. I'll just fucking tap it. I'll give you a Charlie horse. Make your leg go now. Simmons is scared to let me do anything now. I bet Mike has some really good stories of fucking really painful bullshit. My aunt had a trailer hitch parked in my other aunt's backyard, and so the whole trailer is white, but the trailer hitch itself is black. It's this big fucking hitch. So we're playing hide and seek at night.
Nice one.
And I'm running full bore. I run under the trailer because I'm just tall enough to do it, or short enough rather to do it. Thinking like, oh, I'm gonna get away. Run smack. I run smack into the fucking trailer hitch, clothesline myself, and I don't remember this at all. But apparently I'm like 13, and I'm just yelling, fuck! I was passed out. I woke up, my dad was carrying me to the car. But all my family and stuff that was around was like, all we hear is this, fuck! And then I was unconscious. Oh, I got a gnarly fucking, I got a gnarly finger break story. So I was going to take care of an ex-girlfriend's dogs while they were out of town. Like, the whole family was out of town. And in my old car, it was like a manual lock. There wasn't like a button or click or anything like that. So I'm getting out of the car, and somehow my arm gets stuck in the seatbelt. As I slam the door, I get my hand out and I crush my middle finger, the very middle like tip of it, completely crush it in the door, right? But at the same time, because of that happening, I dropped the keys just out of reach. So I had to rip my fucking hand out of this crushed thing. So, like, the nail had ripped off. It was bleeding everywhere and stuff. I go to the hospital. Everyone thinks I have a fucking severed finger. They're like, why are you at the ER? I was like, it's fine. I just have my hand in this bag of ice, and it's just soaked in blood. Gross as fuck. Or I stuck a screwdriver through my index finger while working telecom, because the screwdriver was sharpened so that it would grip screws better. and I have like the long screwdriver, and I have like the screw, and I'm working inside of a pylon for outdoor Wi-Fi, and I'm fucking screwing, and I put on the fucking like pressure to like get the screw to go into the plywood inside, and fucking screwdriver goes straight through my finger. Did I finish the job? Fuck yeah. No, because of the jet ski accident, I have a dislocated vertebra, and it sits kind of like this. And for the longest time, because of that and the hives that I had for allergies, because they would like stiffen my joints and stuff, so it was like having arthritis everywhere. Between those two things, for the longest time, I was basically in pain every day, all throughout high school and shit. And one of the main reasons like why I dealt with depression and shit was pain related. But yeah, so I don't know. I don't really have like I have a pretty high pain tolerance and shit, and I don't really get phantom pain or anything. Sometimes when I sleep in a weird position, like my whole back going all the way down my spine will ache really bad, but that's about it.